Just a quick apology and editor's note. I unfortunately forgot to plug in my microphone, so the sound quality might be a little off. When I went to go listen to it, I didn't understand why the sound was coming out of my laptop speakers and not in my ear because I was wearing my headset. But nothing was coming out of the sound, so I quickly realized, belatedly, that after I had recorded the entire episode, I didn't have the microphone plugged in. So my apologies. Sorry, you will be hearing the dryer in the background.
I am the Rowan.
Welcome back to the Rowan's podcast. I am the Rowan. This is episode number 48. Grab yourself a cup of coffee and a comfy chair and let's chat. So today we are going to talk about the names of right now. Welcome back. 1, 2. Boop. Welcome back to the Rowan's podcast. I am the Rowan. This will be episode number 48. Grab yourself a cup of coffee and a comfy chair and let's chat. I recently ran across an Instagram short that I found was very interesting because the person who did this short was saying quite a lot of the same things that I've been banging on about how I believe that the D in ADHD and the D in autism spectrum disorder is wrong. And his name is, and I wish I could, if I can link it to the description, I will. This particular post that he had, his name is Joshua Shane Bentley, all lowercase letters. And he's on Instagram, and I just happened to run across it, I think, through Facebook. I ended up scrolling shorts and ended up finding it. But anyways, so he was saying that, but his reasons for saying that, I found one of the biggest reason that he said that I found very interesting. He has a lot of faith-based posts. Matter of fact, I think most of the ones that I looked at were mostly all faith-based. There wasn't much on autism, although honestly, I didn't go all the way through his thing and look at every single one. There might be, plenty more on there. Well, I know he did a newer one on that, which I found really interesting too. But this particular one, he was saying because of his faith, this is one of the reasons why he won't say, he says that he is autistic, but he will not say that he has autism spectrum disorder. There's a big difference there for him. And he said the reason why is that to call himself or to say that he has autistic spectrum disorder would be to say that he was broken, defective, or less than because of the word disorder. And he says that he believes that God did not make a mistake, does not make things broken, does not make things defective. And I found that was very interesting. And I agree with him. Absolutely, wholeheartedly agree with him. God does not make mistakes. And I really agree with him. And so then I wanted to delve into that a little bit further, but I also wanted to go into the different names because it's not just ADHD and it's not just autism spectrum disorder. Well, we're going to focus on ADHD actually, mostly. But there are different names that have been kicked around here and there that people would like to use for ADHD. And I came up with a few of them that I wanted to share. But I did also wanted to make a few more comments on his video and the fact that God doesn't make mistakes when he makes in his creation, and he hasn't, because in in Genesis, every day he says it is good. It is good, and so everything he made was good. Um, I believe even the smallest imperfection, what we might perceive as being an imperfection, can really hold a lot of beauty. Like where I live, there's a lot of what they call euperlite rocks, and there's a different actual scientific name for them, and I used to know what it was. And this type of rock, you go on the beach, and they look kind of ugly during the daylight, look kind of ugly, kind of, whatever, ordinary rocks. But if you go at night and you shine a UV light on them, they glow, and they glow really pretty colors and different patterns. And there's purple colors and some orangey colors and some red colors. I think there's some other colors, but I'm not sure. But those are the ones that I've seen. And people around here, they go and they search for them. It's like a hidden beauty. You may think that these rocks are really ugly during the daytime, but God has put a hidden beauty in even what we might think would be ugly. So God didn't make a mistake making an ugly rock, because he'd be beautiful on the inside, or not on the inside, but on the. We just tend to look at it literally in a different light. We can see the beauty, and that is the same way with anybody who's neurotypical. I mean, sorry, anybody who's neurodivergent. Just because we are not typical, just because we are not the everyday ordinary and we're different, does not mean that we're broken, defective, or less than. It just means you have to look at us in a different light, and then you'll see the beauty there. I don't know, what would you name? Drop it in the comments. What would you name ADHD instead of attention deficit hyperactivity disorder? Because it really isn't a deficit, nor is it a disorder. We don't have an attention deficit. We are over attentive. And I don't believe that we're disordered at all. I'm sorry if I'm a little sidetracked here, but there is a deer in my yard. Well, back in the field back there. Actually, there's quite a few further back, but this one's up closer to the house. It's kind of cute. But we had 15 out here the other day in the field. That was nice. But we get a lot of animals here. And I know I'm getting off track. We do get a lot of animals here. We get a bunch of deer. We get like flocks of turkeys. I mentioned before we had a pack of coyotes. Well, no, a pack of wolves. And then we had a mated pair of coyotes. Last year we had a pack of coyotes. Running around, hanging out by our farm and stuff. That's fun. Oh wait, no, there's two deer. Oh, I see two. But anyways, yeah, the one time last year when I let the dogs out, the coyotes started yiping and yelping and stuff, and they were like on the other side of our driveway, which is all that far from the house where the dogs were, and they were like on the other side of our silo, yiping, like that close to the house. And I quick like a bunny made the dogs come back in because no, that was in the dark and I didn't want. That was just weird. But and we get bears, but I haven't seen any yet. But we in the springtime, I don't. Normally about this time, like when we first moved here, we started putting out our bird feeders early in the spring for the little birdies that are coming back in. But then the bears would come because they would know it would be there, and they would come and eat the bird seed. And then got to the point where, okay, I don't want to put them out, so a little bit later on in the spring, after they've woken up and they've kind of gone wherever, and they realize there's no seed there, then we put it out. We just haven't. We're gonna put some out though soon because we've been getting a lot of birds looking at our feeder. But and our feeder is up real close to the house, so yeah. By the time we come, even during the summertime, we'll wake up, we'll look out in the morning, and our bird feeders will be knocked over and the seeds all gone and everything. So, but yeah, so those are all the critters we get. But anyways, I kind of totally got off track. There you go, attention deficit, right? No, it's because I was very attentive. I had very much attention out my window while I was doing this, and I happened to see them deer. But so there you go, attention variability. But so yeah. So what would you name it? I'm like I said, we do have. I mean, we can sit and be very much focused on things, like something that we're really super into. We could be focused on it for hours, and that's where we lose. Sometimes with our time sense, we lose all track of time. We can be there for hours and hours and hours, just completely focused. Other days, just hardly any focus at all. And I don't think it's because we're not. I think there's just so much going in at once. It's hard to. Your brain is like short circuits. Like, I want to focus on every single thing, but nothing will stick in my brain. But I want to see everything, and it can be tiring. And it is. What would we want to call ADHD that would get rid of any negative letters in there? Like, because then we've got attention deficit hyperactivity disorder. So then we got the deficit word in there, which we've already established this. We are not deficit in our attention. Our attention just goes on everything, and it's really hard to focus on just one thing, but it's because we are attentive to so much. And our brain has a hard time filtering it out, so it's just all there, so it just seems like we're spacey and whatever. But it's not that, it's just to everything. So it's not attention disorder. It's like overly attentive. Hyperactivity disorder. I don't think that's a good one either. Well, disorder for one thing is not good, but the other, the hyperactivity. Not every single person with ADHD has hyperactivity. Now you could say, okay, ADD, attention deficit disorder. Okay. Having it like in two separate things, and I think they used to, but I think they put it all together in one, so it's like a spectrum. I know for me, when I got diagnosed, I was diagnosed as having a severe form of inattentive ADHD. Again, it's not that we're not paying attention. It's that our brain doesn't keep the things in that they should keep it. But so I don't know. I think because the hyperactivity is not like for everybody. Like because we all know girls. It's mostly, at first it was just only boys could have ADHD because they were the hyperactive ones, and that was the poster child for ADHD, was a hyperactive little boy. And they finally was like, oh yeah, women can give it to girls, can give it too. And there's all these women who were never diagnosed as girls, so hey, hello, here we are. Because we didn't have the hyperactivity. And so I don't even think that whole acronym's even correct at all. Should be, I'm not exactly sure what it should be, but there are two possibilities I can give you though, because I ran across, well, years ago, a guy named Connor. He's a young kid, and he does some funny ADHD YouTube things. And he had a thing about changing the ADHD to a different name, and his was dopamine attention variability executive dysfunction, which still has a dysfunction in the name. But we can look at this differently. We can say it just means that we function differently, not bad, not broken wise, but differently. So that could be the dysfunction, we just differently. Anyways, and his acronym for that is Dave, which I think is hilarious. Because again, my husband's name is Dave. And it reminds me also of Alex Partridge's Dave the Dragon for his name for his RSD, rejection sensitivity dysphoria. But I like the dopamine attention variability because that is a huge factor in the ADHD and how we function day to day, even minute to minute, hour to hour. This really depends on our dopamine levels, whether spiked it or if it's tanked or whatever. I think that's a good one. Although I cannot see the DSM having that in the medical, thing is, okay, this person has Dave. I don't see them doing that. Although I would love it if they did. That would be fantastic. But I don't see them doing that. It would be cool. Could you imagine going to your doctor's office and your doctor sits down and you have your child there and you have an evaluation and the doctor goes, yes, I believe your child can be diagnosed with Dave. I'm sorry, I think that would be hilarious. The other one I have that I found was, and this one I had never heard of this before, I was actually looking up other names for it, VAST. VAST, VAST, Variable Attention Stimulus Trait. To me, I think this is a really boring name, and I don't think it encompasses the whole spiel of what everything is. I mean, I guess maybe it does. I don't like it. I don't like it. It just seems really boring. Like, okay, your child has been diagnosed with VAST. I don't know. It just seems wrong. It doesn't seem medical for one thing, and it doesn't seem, well, I mean, it does, but it doesn't. Just vast, like vast blood. But it just seems boring to me. And I have a definition for it. It says, definition, VAST stands for variable attention stimulus trait, emphasizing on the brain, or emphasizing that the brain has variable attention and responds to stimuli rather than just lacking attention. It moves away from the stigma of attention deficit hyperactivity disorder, framing it as a nervous system with a Ferrari engine that needs the right brakes. I really got boring. I prefer Dave. All right, let's take a poll here. Maybe I'll actually add a poll to this episode. Would you rather prefer Vast or Dave? Drop me a comment on what your acronym might be for it, what you might think. I mean, someone might come up with a really, really good idea. And I'm sure one of y'all out there have an excellent, well, probably all of you actually. Yeah, we all do. We all have excellent ideas. Put your excellent ideas down. And let's see what we all can come up with. I'd really like to get some, honestly, I'd really love to get some comments. Like you 11 YouTuber videos or YouTuber subscribers. Would love to hear from you. I do appreciate you listening. I really do. I know I haven't done a lot of videos, and it'll be a while before I do some. I have to get like a good day off of work when everyone else is working, so that I have the internet all to myself that I can upload. But I know I really do appreciate my YouTuber subscribers. Thank you so much. But drop me just a note. Just say hi, or put down your comment on what you think would be a good acronym for this. If you were to change the ADHD name, let me know. And also, you 5 Spotify subscribers, shout out to you guys too. Thank you very much for listening. Drop me a line as to what you think that the new name should be. But also, we should think of a name for autism spectrum disorder, because to get rid of the disorder, I think, you know what I really think? I think they should just have it autism spectrum. Just, that's it. Your child is diagnosed as being on the autism spectrum. That's it. Do we really need the word disorder in there? It just seems destructive. It seems wrong. It seems like stigmatizing. It just seems like it seems wrong. Why can't it just be your child is on the autism spectrum? Oh yeah, and ADHD. Why can't we just have it on the attention spectrum? That doesn't make sense. Some sort of spectrum. Attention and hyperactivity spectrum. Yeah. AHS. Oz. Oz. Child has been diagnosed as having Oz. Oh, yeah. Okay. Not sure how that would go well. Anyways, yeah. But I think autism spectrum disorder should just be autism spectrum, because we don't need disorder. But anyways, thank you all for stopping by and listening, and I apologize for seeming a little off. I have been having a really difficult past few weeks, some family things, and I've had a lot of activity as well on top of it with other things, and I just have been really super tired, really super drained, overwhelmed emotionally and physically, and I've just have not been up for doing much. So I'm trying to get myself back into it. So if I seemed like I'm stumbling along this episode, that's why. So maybe in a week or so, I can maybe do like an actual full video episode. We'll see. And I have some ideas for some new episodes, and I am gonna pick our executive creative assistant Sue, her brain here also, for some ideas. And maybe if I get a bunch of ideas, put them all in a little hat to pull one out. Because I have a lot going on in my brain right now, ideas that I'm going to do. So, but Sue tends to have some really good ones. Some really, really good ones. So I am going to be, hello Sue, here's your warning. Start thinking up stuff, because I know you're listening, and I'm picking your brain for ideas. And if anyone else out there who is listening, if you have any ideas for any subject matters, I don't care what it is, as long as it's not political. Doesn't have to be ADHD or autism related. It can be faith-based. It can be about a book. It can be about a movie. It can be about whatever topic comes to mind. Dog grooming. I don't care. Whatever it is. You want to talk about fishing? Let's talk about fishing. I don't care. If you want to be, also if you want to be a guest, let me know. Or if you just want to be the person who speaks, I can have you as a guest speaker. You can just do an episode. That would be amazing. I just want to sit and chat. That'd be really cool. We don't even have to have a subject. We can just chat. That'd be amazing. So, or if you just have an idea that something you want me to do, drop me a message, please. But thank you all. Shout out to everyone who's listening. I thank every single one of you from the bottom of my heart. Thank you so much for being here. And Remember, you matter, and you really do. This isn't just something that I'm saying. I really do believe that each and every one of us matter. Um, thank you, and you are loved. More later. Bye.